Hi, I'm Shashank Bhargav, and you're listening to Three Things, the Indian Express news show. In today's episode, we talk about a school in Ahmedabad that asked its students to send postcards to the Prime Minister saying that they support the Citizenship Amendment Act. But before that, we bring you two stories that are both connected to the Vice-Chancellor of the Jawaharlal Nehru University, where violence had taken place on Sunday that left 26 people injured. To give some background, students had been protesting since October against the university fees being hiked. Since January 1st, the JNU Students' Union had also boycotted the winter registration process. Now, the one thing that the JNU Students' Union has been demanding since the beginning of the protest is for the Vice-Chancellor M. Jagadesh Kumar to resign. Now, Indian Express has learned that about a month back, Kumar had actually been given an ultimatum by the Department of Higher Education to accept a compromise with the students or resign. After this ultimatum was given, in less than 48 hours, the Higher Education Secretary R. Subramaniam was moved out. Ritika Chopra, who broke this story, joins us on a call to talk about it. Ritika, you broke the story that the JNU Vice-Chancellor, Jagadesh Kumar, who has been under pressure from protesting students and teachers to quit, he had been given an ultimatum by the Department of Higher Education to reach a compromise with the students, which he did not. Could you talk about exactly what the ministry had proposed?
The bit that most of us have known is that the HRD ministry was working with the administration of Jawaharlal Nehru University and the student representatives to arrive at some sort of a compromise because the standoff, the agitation had lasted close to 2 months at that time. So when the ministry felt that the Vice Chancellor was not speaking to the students at all, it decided to arrive at that compromise formula itself. And there was something that seemed agreeable both to the administration. When I say the administration, I mean office bearers like the registrar, the proctor, and the officers elect of the Jawaharlal Nehru University Students' Union. In order to implement the compromise, the ministry had to ensure that the VC was on board as well. We also know that probably a day or two after the formula was finalized, and when the ministry was in the process of trying to get the Vice Chancellor and the entire student community of JNU on board, the Higher Education Secretary R. Subramaniam was transferred out. He was moved to the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. This is something we've known all along, and it was pretty evident that the secretary was probably moved out because, he seemed to be working very actively on the compromise, and maybe the formula did not suit certain people. What we know now is that, and this is something that wasn't known before, was that the Vice Chancellor was actually given an ultimatum on the 11th of December. The ultimatum was that you accept this formula, or if you wish, you can resign from the post. This was, if I'm not wrong, on the 11th of December. We have learned that the Vice Chancellor agreed to the formula on the 11th of December, but seems to have backtracked the day after. And on the 13th of December, the Higher Education Secretary was removed. Now, coming to your specific question of what is it that the formula proposed, there were, if I remember correctly, about 4 points in that formula. One, of course, being that the administration should roll back the service and utility charges that were announced, increased hostel fee, and only charge the hiked room rent. And in exchange for that, the JNUSU, that is the Students' Union, was expected to call off their agitation, not gherao the administration, and call off their agitation. Another thing was that the administration was advised to recognize the JNU Students' Union, which it hasn't done as yet. Our sources in the ministry tell us that even today, the government feels that the VC has been a little unreasonable on that front. He's being too inflexible as far as that is concerned. They feel that basically that the student community in JNU at this point lacks a recognized leadership. And if the VC could recognize the Students' Union, that could solve the problem to a great extent, at least kind of help restore normalcy on campus. These are 2 points. The third point was that since the students at JNU seems to have lost a lot of academic time, as in the sense that they had not attended classes, that the administration should agree to extend the semester by 2 weeks. These were among the points that were proposed under the compromise formula. After the higher education secretary was moved out, the administration has only implemented the point on rolling back the utility and service charges and only charging room rent. None of the other points have been implemented as on date.
For the story, did you try to get in touch with the former higher education secretary, Mr. Subramaniam? Did he have to say anything about it?
Yes, we reached out to him and he did not wish to comment on the matter since he's no longer the higher education secretary. So he doesn't want to comment on anything related to education.
Now we talk about the violence that took place in JNU on Sunday. We had earlier mentioned that the JNU Students' Union had been boycotting the winter registration process since the beginning of this year. As part of this boycott, the administration alleged that the students vandalized the university server room. After a few days, the right-wing student organization ABVP started protesting against the student union's boycott. Then on Sunday, violence broke out in the campus. Several masked men carrying sticks, rod, and sledgehammers entered the university and attacked both students and teachers. In this incident, 26 people were injured. This attack, the JNU Student Union alleged, was carried out by the ABVP, which the ABVP denied. During this entire incident, the role of the Vice-Chancellor and the police has been questioned. Indian Express previously reported that 23 calls had been made to the police control room. Now we have learned that the Vice-Chancellor himself had messaged the police but did not ask them to enter the campus. Mahender Singh Manral, who reports on crime for the Indian Express and who broke this story, joins us to talk about it. So Manral, we know that the violence that took place in JNU on Sunday lasted several hours and several calls were made to the police. And in the story that you broke, which was printed yesterday, we found that the Vice-Chancellor himself had messaged the police. Could you talk about what exactly happened that day?
It all started like police came at around 8 a.m. in the campus to perform their duty. Basically, their job was to ensure the compliance of High Court order that no dharna or protest take place within 100 meters of the admin block. So there's a round-the-clock duty going on of Delhi police.
And this had been going because of the ongoing protest which had been going on since October because of the fee hike.
Right. So at around 8 a.m., 25 police personnel, including some women constables, they came. They were in civil dress. They don't have any lathis. They don't have any weapons. They came and they were performing their duty. So since morning, two groups, they were clashing with each other. Confrontation was going on between both this group. Heated argument. Sometime one group was attacking other verbally, not physically. So at around 2:45, first 2:30, first PCR call came where the caller informed that some quarrel going on inside the JNU complex.
And then I understand there were a series of calls.
Yeah.
How did the police respond to that?
After every call, apart from PCR, police person, those were stationed and in the admin block, they only were going and attending all these calls.
The ones that were in civilian clothes?
Yeah. Because already some police person was there. So they have been asked to attend all these calls. And at around 4:15, around 8 PCR calls came from Pariyar hostel. And the caller informed that 40-50 people wearing masks came inside their hostel and they were vandalizing, creating ruckus and attacking all the students. So after receiving this call, Inspector Anand Yadav, he only, along with his 20 police personnel, he had gone to attend that call and they asked all the students just to go away from this hostel and they left that hostel. So later on, DCP was informed about this incident at around 5. DCP also came inside the JNU campus. At the same time, some calls were coming about that 700 people came and they were attacking inside the JNU complex.
700?
Yeah. So they had gone to verify that call, but it was a bogus call. So later on, DCP came outside the campus and he was standing there. They had some information, something is going on. So they waited outside the campus. Later on, at around 6:24 p.m., VC had sent a message to the DCP, ACP, and SHO, and he asked them to come out at the JNU gate.
Could you talk about, or could you tell our listeners exactly what that message said?
So, in his message, which he sent on WhatsApp to the DCP, ACP, and SHO of Vasant Kunj North Police Station, JNU comes under the jurisdiction of Vasant Kunj Police Station. So, he informed them, considering in his message, that considering the volatile situation in JNU campus, I request you to station police at the gate of JNU campus so that they can quickly reach the trouble spot in the campus if a law and order situation arises.
So he's essentially asking them to be stationed outside the hostel.
But only outside the campus, not
Right.
inside the campus. And at the same time, situation was tense inside the campus. Some PVCR calls were coming. Police was going inside and checking and verifying. In some calls, they found some student were attacking. They asked them to leave. Only Inspector Yadav, Anand Yadav, he was going along with his staff and asking them to leave that spot. Even the DCP, he was also in his civil dress. He was wearing jeans and his sweatshirt. He was not in uniform.
So the Vice Chancellor didn't then give them the permission of entering the campus. So now the question arises that, one, why didn't the Vice Chancellor give the police the permission to enter the campus to see actually what's going on? And why did the police, considering so many PCRs calls are coming, there's so much tension, why didn't the police themselves just enter the campus?
So usually police, if they receive some calls, whenever they receive some call of scuffle and some fight from the campus, so PCR went inside, and already there was one team stationed there. So they were going and they were handling the issue. And last time during Jamia incident, they were criticized for entering inside the JNU campus without the permission of the registrar or VC. So this time they decided to wait till the further order of VC. That is why.
So now, I mean, because police has come under question for inaction, there talk about how no one's been arrested. Is this entire matter being investigated?
Yeah, Delhi Police Commissioner has ordered two inquiry, one related with the case. He asked the crime branch to form one SIT and ask them to sit in the campus area to investigate the exact the whole case and arrest all the attackers. And there's one another inquiry which has been headed by a Joint Commissioner of Police rank officer. They are basically trying to ascertain the exact sequence of event and the negligence on the police part, if there is anything.
In the end, we move away from JNU and talk about the case of a school in Ahmedabad where the teachers asked students to write postcards to the Prime Minister expressing their support for the Citizenship Amendment Act, or CAA. Vaibhav Jha, who reported on the story, joins us on a call from Ahmedabad to talk about it. Vaibhav, you reported on the story. Which school did this incident take place in, and what exactly were the children told to do?
So this incident took place at Little Star School. It's an all-girls school affiliated to Gujarat Secondary and Higher Education Board. It's a private one, and it's located in Kakaria area of Ahmedabad city in Gujarat. So this incident happened on Wednesday when at least 36 parents visited the school campus on Wednesday afternoon after they got to know that the school management had allegedly forced the students to write congratulatory messages on postcards to Prime Minister Narendra Modi in support of the CAA, the Citizenship Amendment Act. So the major concern for the parents was that their permission was not sought. And basically, they're saying that our children are not mature enough to fully understand the issue, and it's totally wrong on behalf of the school to actually force them to write congratulatory messages on postcards related to an issue which is currently creating a lot of controversy all over the country. So basically what happened, this is according to the parents and according to the school management, on Tuesday as regular classes were going on, teachers in almost every classroom of the school wrote a certain congratulatory message on the blackboard which read as, "Congratulations, I, citizen of India, congratulate Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi for CAA, Citizenship Amendment Act. I and my family support this act." So teachers wrote this particular message on the blackboard and asked the students to copy it down on blank postcards which each one of them was given. And when the students had copied down the message, then the teachers asked them to write their residence and write the correspondence address to the PMO, the Prime Minister office in Raisina Hills of New Delhi. So this exercise was given to students from class 5th to 10th. So basically, when the kids returned home, they informed their parents that they were asked to write a certain postcard. And there were many students of class 10 who had actually protested against this exercise. They informed their teachers that their internal exams are going on and this might not be the best time for them to get involved in such an activity. So the parents have alleged that the teachers asked the students to compulsorily submit these postcards, or else their marks will be deducted in their internal exams. So class 10 students are currently appearing for internal exams, which happens 2-3 months prior to their board exams.
Okay, so after first students protested and then the parents sort of raised their concerns. What was the school's reaction after this?
So actually, I had reached the school premises around 12 p.m. when the classes had ended, and there was a horde of parents waiting outside the school building, looking for an opportunity to speak to the school management regarding the controversy. So I also went inside the school with the parents, and I happened to attend the meeting which went between the school management and the parents. So basically, the school's trustee explained to the parents that this was a case of, under quotes, misunderstanding, and this happened without his knowledge. According to him, his name is Jinesh Parasaram, and he is the trustee and owner of the school. And when I spoke to Jinesh, he said that this did not happen under his knowledge, and he wasn't aware that teachers were giving such and such exercise to the students. He later on apologized to the parents, and then the school management decided to return these postcards to the parents. And it was then in the meeting itself that the parents decided to lodge a kind of protest by tearing these postcards up right in front of the trustee. And this was more or less of a warning by the parents to not involve their kids in politics in future without their permission, or not involve kids into politics over there. So then the school management offered an apology, and they promised them that such an act will not be repeated further. Even later, after the meeting, when I spoke to them, they said that this was a misuse of authority. I'm quoting the school trustee itself. He said this was misuse of authority by some of the teachers of our school, and this happened without my knowledge. So after this story got published in yesterday's edition of Indian Express, there are other parents in Ahmedabad as well who have come out and who have contacted the press, complaining that there are other schools in the city in which their kids are studying, and these schools have also asked them to submit either postcards or letters to the Prime Minister stating their support for the CAA. Regarding that only, there has been a meeting between an NGO, Rashtriya Alpsankyak Adhikar Manch, and the district education officer yesterday, in which the organization clearly laid down their demands in front of the DEO, stating that schools should not be made a center of politics by the school management. And we are also in touch with other schools of the city to find out exactly how many schools have asked their students to extend their support for the CAA, and whether it is being done under the influence of any political party.
You were listening to Three Things by the Indian Express. Today's show, as always, was edited and mixed by our producer Joshua Thomas. If you like the show, then do subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts. You can also recommend the show to someone you think will like it. Share it with a friend or someone in your family. It's the best way for people to get to know about us. You can also tweet us at Express Audio and write to us at podcasts@indianexpress.com.